Okay, year nines. For this week's practical, you're making chicken fried rice and you're going to need ham, one chicken breast, make sure you've got a red and a green cutting mat along with separate knives and separate wooden spoons. You're going to need a wok, a pot with a good tight lid on it, olive oil, salt, pepper, these vegetables, soya sauce measured out, a frying pan, and a few other bits and pieces. You're going to have a lot of measuring to do following the instructions in your booklet. I've got an old-fashioned scales here. This is how this works. You might have seen one of these before. We just balance it up. There you go. It's balanced now by removing a small amount of rice. Balance up for your mushrooms, ham. Get it all measured out according to your booklet. Right, there was raw meat on that, so I'm going to put that to one side. Measure out the peas. There we go. And the rice. Now watch the rice here. Went to 400, right? And I put it in a pot with a little bit of that's coconut oil, and I saute the rice. Okay, I give it a little stir, and then I measure out the water. Okay, and I go to 600 water, but that was only 400 because I can't get to 600 in one go. So I refill. Exactly 200. Look at the meniscus, spot on there. Remember you did that before. So that's 600 water. Level it up, okay? And this is the best way to do rice. You won't have to drain this rice if you do follow these instructions, okay? Put the lid on it now. Do not touch that lid. Leave it for exactly 30 minutes. Do not touch that lid. Leave it shut, leave it there, and turn the heat down low and background while you get on with cutting stuff up. Right, that was the ham. Chicken next. I'm putting a bit extra in here, folks, because I'm going to double everything up and make a decent meal for the four of us here. All right. Remove any fatty bits and chop those nice and thin. Now put that away in the corner again because you had raw meat on that, and thoroughly wash your hands, folks. Then you can move on to the vegetables. Change your chopping board and keep the meat separate. Start with the mushrooms. Chop them nice and thin, like that, and then chop them up again. They need to be small for a chicken fried rice. Next up will be the onions. You should know how to peel them. I've lost a clip for that. Get them chopped small as well. Put all that to one side and you're going to get going on an omelette. Now you need 3 eggs. I lost a clip for that in there. Mix them up. A little bit of oil in the small frying pan. You can use butter if you want. Get it melted. Spin it around. When it's melted, heat it up and put your eggs in the center there. So now do a bit of tidying up, but keep a good eye on that because it'll take 2 or 3 minutes and you need to spin it around and mix it a little bit, but you can't let that burn or anything. So go around and keep it loose so it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan, and just after a little while you'll flip it. This is a bit dodgy. Oh, I got away with that. Right, and then you're gonna have to leave it again for another 2 minutes, I'd say, but keep a good eye on that. But do a little bit of tidying up. Now you got to cut it into small pieces, but I would leave it till later. It didn't really cut very well. I'm gonna let it settle. Put that on the hot stand. Get going again on the wok this time. Oil it up, mix it around, get it nice and hot. Put in your chicken. Now you got raw poultry there, so put that to one side with everything else that had raw meat on it. Swap your wooden spoons around. Remember your hygiene. And use a separate wooden spoon when you're touching the meat, especially raw meat. All right. Now I like to drain it off, but that's not cooked yet. Okay, so that oil needs to go in the bin, and that plate needs to go off to one side. You had raw meat on that because it wasn't fully cooked. Get it back in there. Make sure it's fully cooked. Should start to go brown. See that little brown bits? Give your wok a little cleaning off there, and get going again with the vegetables. This time we got the onions and the mushrooms. Throw in your soya sauce. Flavor up as you please with a bit of pepper, salt, whatever amount you want, or anything else you want to put in there is fine.
Soon.
It's time to keep stirring and finish chopping up the omelette into small little squares. Break them up, make sure they all go in there separately. Chicken's going in there. I'm throwing in a few bean sprouts. Rice has got to go in. That's perfectly fluffy. No water on that at all. But if you have water, you got to drain it off. I don't. And start mixing. That's going to take a little bit of time to mix. A bit more soy sauce if you want. Don't forget the ham, peas, mix, 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 and it's done. There you go. Ready to feed the family. And that's what I think you should try and aim to do. So make plenty of it. Dish it all up. It needs to be piping hot. Look at the steam coming off that. And that's it. A little bit more sauce as you wish. Folks, health and safety, most important. You will be using sharp knives, heat, raw meat. You must make sure you use the correct chopping board and you put anything that touches raw meat to one side. You must not cross-contaminate it with your vegetables. Is that clear? Please make sure you have an adult helping you with this. You're only year 9. It's a bit of a tall order, so tie it in with your family, doing a family meal at the same time, just like I did. Okay, good luck. Send a picture. Show us how you got on. Thank you. Have a nice evening.